What's up, everybody? Let's look at the Bible that has unfortunately been criticized quite a bit since its release, and that is the King James Bible large print reference in the Sovereign Collection from Thomas Nelson. This is one of their most recent editions in the Sovereign Collection, and it has some of the best design choices, I think, that have been put out in a Bible recently. But there's just those couple things, really one major thing, that is turning a lot of people away, and I think it's a well-founded concern. So let's take a look at this and see. You probably already know what that is if you're watching this video, but I'll share my 2 cents on that. So this is the box, brown accents, or kind of a gold accent, single piece slip case, has some of the info on the back. This is the 10.5 point comfort print, Smithsonian binding, and Words of Christ in red. Pretty regular King James format. So this is the brown Leathersoft, and I'd call it more of a chestnut color. It is pretty bright. The RSV that I reviewed, which I will have a comparison here in a little bit, but the brown of that one that I reviewed was also this kind of chestnut color, which it looks really nice. The perimeter is stitched, and then you have this decorative tooling lines around the face, Holy Bible on the front, 4 raised hubs with Holy Bible, King James Version, Thomas Nelson stamped on there with some gold foil, and then the perimeter tool line, and then the ISBN stamped on the back. Very simple, but has this elegant look with those gold accents. Gold page gilding, and then 2 double satin ribbons, brown and red, which I think accent these colors very well. They could be a little bit longer, but they suffice. Inside, there are brown end sheets, which are not glossy. They are just cardstock paper, which I think they did on all of their Leathersoft editions. Most of the genuine leathers are either edge-lined or have a vinyl paste-down liner. The trim size on this is 9 1/4 inches tall by 6 1/4 wide by 1 and almost 1.5, I think, inches thick. So pretty close. I think it's 9/16. So it is a bigger Bible, but you kind of get that impression from the large print reference. Opening the pages up here, have the opening to the King James Red Letter Edition. Here is the publication page, and you'll notice that it is printed in India. And this is kind of where a lot of the criticism stems from, because many of these India printed editions from Nelson recently have had some inconsistencies in just different aspects of their publishing. This one revolves mostly around the paper. So here's the contents, note to King James, and then the Old Testament. Lays nice and flat from the beginning. And you can see the general layout here, and you can also see the ghosting. It is not much worse in person than it is on the camera, and the camera picks up pretty much all of it, if not amplifying it to some degree. You can see well on to the next page, so I can easily see the page behind on this one. It's almost like tracing paper in some respects, which is very concerning and really a major knock to the usability and just aesthetic experience of reading this Bible. Not all editions were this bad. I know a few people didn't have any complaints about it, but a lot of people who got copies to review and have purchased this right away have had this issue. But that aside, let's quickly go through all of the aspects of this layout. You have ornamental drop caps for each chapter, and then the book introductions, which are at the beginning, have an ornamental drop cap beginning it as well. Introductions are separated by a line, double column text with 10.5 point comfort print. Red accents, which I really enjoy. They did a very great job with this color scheme. Verse numbers, which are verse by verse in this King James, are red, and they are bold when they indicate a new paragraph. At the bottom of the page, you have a line which separates the textual footnotes and cross-references. There are around 72,000 cross-references for this King James edition. You can see them there. Looks very reminiscent of a Schuyler Bible, which is, if you do not know, a premium, high quality, expensive leather edition of the King James offered by Evangelical Bible. So here is really what sets this apart from a lot of Bibles that are published right now, and that is the gutter space. A lot of Bibles have about the same. Usually they do a little bit more in the gutter just because they know it does take up some of the readability, but many of them do not do enough. Now this one is close to 7/8 of an inch in the gutter and just over 1/2 inch in the margin, which is a significant difference. But it's not advertised as a wide margin or note-taking Bible. It's just a large print reference Bible. And that allows for this text to always be on the center of the page. There's not a space in this Bible where the text falls into the gutter. It is always flat on the very center of the page. This margin might be aesthetically a little bit disorienting. It might look like a lot of white space, but when it comes to using the Bible and reading the text and using it as a reference Bible, which is what it was designed to be, this allows for a very pleasurable experience when using it. I think a lot of Bibles would benefit from this much gutter space, even at the expense of a little bit of your margin, which this one doesn't even give up. So the Poetic settings on this one, trying to bend pages there, are single column, which is very similar, the same actually, but the RSV, which I reviewed last year, is also the same design, which is something I really like, having a little bit of difference where the Poetic settings transition to a single column, which really fits a poetic reading, and then going back to double column for the prose sections. So I really liked that feature of this one as well. The New Testament words of Christ are in red. This is actually one copy of a red letter that I didn't find very much diversity in color of the text. That being said, I've seen photos of other reviewers where they had copies that had very significant differences between red letters on one page to another. This one's been pretty consistent, but that's give or take. Each copy is going to be a little bit different. But here you can see how much this is showing through. You're seeing easily what's happening on the other page, and even on the back of this page you can still see that a little bit showing up here. So it does have a decent bit of ghosting. Other than that, this is a top-notch Bible. So at the end you have Miracles of Jesus, Parables of Christ, one-year reading plan, and then the King James Concordance, which is followed by a note regarding the type, and then Bible maps, which I absolutely love. They are on semi-gloss, they're not even gloss, they're more of a matte finish cardstock that is only slightly thicker than your Bible paper. These ones are not full on cardstock. They're more of a regular paper with a slight finish to them. Then you get to the end and you have your end sheet. So that is the KJV Large Print Reference Edition in the Sovereign Collection. I realize that this has some major concerns with the paper, and that might be a deal breaker for you. Hopefully this video helped you determine that. If they come out with a premier collection of this one, it will be a top-notch Bible. This design and layout is superb. They did a great job with the gutter being a little bit wider, makes it look beautiful and read very well. And the paper is really the only thing giving me pause to say this is an edition to go out and buy. It may or may not be your cup of tea. So thank you for watching, and I'll be back with another review soon.